First of all, please subscribe to our page for more audiobooks. Thank you. How to Be Free by Joe Blow. Chapter 23. Impasses to Thought. If you think that what I say here makes sense and you wonder why you haven't come across these kinds of ideas before, it is because the evolution of ideas, like the evolution of species, is obstructed by impasses. For a long time animals only lived under the sea. The land represented a great opportunity for the flourishing of life, but fish were suited to life under the sea, not to life on land. I don't know what led to the first fish developing the ability to spend some of its time on land, but once it was there were opportunities for new variations which, if successful, could proliferate and diversify and make full use of the terrestrial environment. When that first fish crawled up onto land, it bridged a significant impasse. Similarly, when we humans developed the ability for complex reasoning, we bridged an impasse inherent in the limiting effects of the survival imperative and competition for mating opportunities in other species. Once that impasse was bridged, we gradually took over the world. Ideas develop in a similar way to animal species. We have ideas, and if they seem useful, others adopt them. Particularly powerful ideas which seem to be useful descriptions of aspects of the world take hold and become dominant. Then somebody comes up with a variation on one of those ideas, the thinking equivalent of a species mutation. Whether that idea takes off and leads to new ideas or perishes quickly depends on how well it fits either the needs of the society or the information that has been gathered about the world. Some ideas, like the theory of gravity, take hold because they are an effective description of observable reality and are useful in that way. Other ideas, such as the idea that behaving badly can lead to an eternity of pain in hell, take hold because they effectively serve a social function, in this case control of antisocial behavior. So there is a survival of the fittest amongst ideas. Some ideas, such as that the sun revolves around the earth, die off when a more accountable explanation comes along. But in the development of ideas there are also impasses. Of course, in science we can be held back by the technological limits on gathering of information in our era. But, in broader philosophical thinking and in the development of a big picture framework for our scientific knowledge, we can be held back by a fear of allowing ourselves to think certain thoughts. In religious thinking we have the concept of blasphemy. While this doesn't directly affect philosophical or scientific thinking, it is important to realize that religious thinking has had a tendency to have a big influence on acceptance of even scientifically valid ideas. Darwin was fearful about publishing his work on evolution because of the effect that it would have on people's religious beliefs, and, even today, some religious individuals resist accepting its validity. But for the non-religious thinker there are still taboos. For an atheistic scientist, any thought that might be leading him in the direction of acknowledging something that looks like God might be a taboo. And there are sexual taboos. Any re-examination of the nature of human sexuality can lead the individual to come up against those. And there is our natural fear of committing hubris. If our reason or intuition tells us we should turn the whole history of human thought on its head, we may wonder who we are to do such a thing, and we may doubt our own sanity. The thoughts that can lead us to a concept of the world and ourselves that appears to work can include ones which we feel that we dare not even contemplate lest they lead us down a path to madness or irredeemable depravity. But once the impasse has been breached and those thoughts have been thought, then sometimes all the pieces of the picture rush together. In my case, my mind was liberated by madness. I feared insanity, but I ended up there anyway, and, by good luck, it didn't kill me. And, as the psychiatrist Hardy Lying pointed out, breakdown can also be breakthrough. During my psychotic episodes my mind broke every taboo and committed every blasphemy. Caution was not an option. I had no control over my own mind. But when I returned to sanity, the impasses had been breached. I could travel back through those previously forbidden pathways if it were required to piece together a consistent explanation for my experiences and what I perceived about human behavior generally.